Cult of the Lamb is a roguelike game where you worship and start a cult in the name of the one who waits, who wants revenge on the bishops that imprisoned him in the Shadow Realm. He tasks me with getting all 48 achievements to 100% Cult of the Lamb, requiring me to kill the 4 bishops. Their names are Leshy, Heket, Calamar, and Shamura. Will I be able to get all 48 achievements, or will I die as a martyr? The game opens up with me kneeling in front of the 4 bishops. I get my head chopped off as a sacrifice, and I'm awakened in a new dimension, where I meet the one who waits. He offers me a second chance at life, as long as I start a cult in his name and kill the bishops to set him free. I was only given 2 choices, yes or absolutely, so I chose the latter. This awards me my first achievement. I get resurrected and I kill my captors. I meet a friendly NPC called Ratau, who gives me some advice as well as a free follower. I invited the follower to join my cult, awarding me another achievement. Ratau instructs me to build a kitchen to cook food for my followers so they won't starve to death. Afterward, I use my follower to open the first dungeon, Darkwood, which is Leshy's domain. At the end of each run, Leshy uses one of his followers and turns them into a demonic creature that I need to take down. Mini-bosses are quite easy, and upon defeating Amdusis, I get an achievement for killing my first mini-boss. After each mini-boss, the door leading to Leshy opens by a quarter. Ratau gives me another free follower that I harvest devotion from. Devotion gives me upgrades that I can use permanently. I use my devotion to unlock the temple, and after constructing the behemoth, I can now use serums, which gives me a different type of upgrade specifically designed for dungeons. I then get an achievement for doing my first serum. My next goal was to kill Leshy, so I defeated the last 2 mini-bosses, raising my total number of followers to 5, thus awarding me another achievement. After each dungeon, you get a commandment stone fragment. Collecting all the pieces allows you to deliver a new doctrine for your cult. These can be rituals or traits. Speaking of rituals, I performed my first ritual, awarding me an achievement. I then had to come up with a name for the cult, but I wasn't paying attention, so it was left as the Cult of the Lamb. Moving on, I challenged my mentor to a game of Knucklebones, a game where you build dice combos and get the highest score to win. Upon Ratau's inevitable defeat, I am awarded an achievement and a tarot card. Tarot cards are upgrades I can get during dungeons, but only for that specific run. Afterwards, they disappear, but I will need to collect them all for an achievement later on. Leading up to the boss fight with Leshy, I discover another NPC that invites me to Pilgrim's Passage. There are 5 locations in the game, and I'll need to find all 5 for an achievement. But now it's the fight against Leshy, the first bishop. Leshy sacrifices his members to become more powerful. He puts up a good fight, but he eventually goes down, and I get an achievement, See No Evil, for defeating Leshy. I also receive his heart, which was for some reason located in his brain, and the first set of chains keeping my master captive get broken. I open the next dungeon, Anura, home to Heket, the next bishop I will need to kill. Before I did that, I paid a visit to Pilgrim's Passage to visit the fishermen. Going fishing is a good way to get food for my followers. Eventually, I pick up an item known as a follower form. I would need to gather all of them, but for now, I wasn't too bothered. Pilgrim's Passage has a lighthouse with a small cult inside. They promised me their loyalty as long as I fixed the lighthouse. I did have to sacrifice 15 wood to do so, but I did get their undying loyalty and an achievement. Back at home, I introduced 2 more followers to my cult, raising my numbers to 10 total followers, unlocking me another achievement. Wandering through Anura, I find Flinky. He challenges me to a game of Knucklebones the next time I visit the Lonely Shack. I will need to beat all the NPCs in Knucklebones for an achievement much later on. Heket is the next bishop I need to defeat, and he sacrifices his followers to turn into a toad. Heket's only attack is to hop around and summon enemies to hurt you. After a long game of cat and mouse, I deal the final blow, killing Heket, awarding me the Speak No Evil achievement, as well as my second heretic heart and the second pair of chains breaking. After my fight with Heket, Sonic became old, so the most reasonable thing I could think of was to sacrifice him to a fate worse than death. This gives me 2 achievements. The first was for having a follower die, and the second was performing my first sacrifice ritual. I'll need to do 10 in total for an achievement later on. To take my mind off Sonic's death, I went fishing, and I eventually reeled up the last fish in the lake that I needed for an achievement. Unlocking every fish also gets me a holy talisman, which I can use to unlock a fleece, which gives me special powers depending on the fleece I choose. And the one I went with gave me a power boost every time I killed an enemy, at the cost of taking double damage, but because I never get hit, it was a no-brainer. The same night, I picked up my 20th follower, awarding awarding me an achievement. Calamar is the next bishop and he is located inside Ankady, but he rocked my ass, so I put a pin in his defeat for now. I decided to fully upgrade my cult, which I didn't get footage for, but you can see the cult is upgraded when I grab the kitchen. Using my serum points, I unlocked all curses, which are magic spells that I didn't really use that often. I also grabbed the godly weapons upgrade, which finishes off my collection, awarding me another achievement. While I was AFK, one of my followers cooked a meal made from the meat of Sonic, which another follower ate for the Cannibal achievement. I grew a pair and challenged Calamar once more, and this time fate was on my side. Once Calamar is defeated, I unlock the Hear No Evil achievement, I get my third heretic heart, and now only one pair of chains remains until my master is free. My next achievement would come when I was completing a quest in Anuda and I killed Hecate without taking damage, which was riveting. Continuing with the story, Shamuda possesses a cult member and I had to kill one of my own, so I was determined to eventually get revenge. I did manage to unlock the confession boost, which was an amazing way to boost loyalty of my followers, making leveling up a whole lot easier. I also got the Keeper of Secrets achievements for taking my first confession. Exploring through Silk Cradle, I found a sign that pointed me to Midas's cave, which was the final location I needed to find for the Leader of the Crusade achievement. During this period of the game, I was running low on cash. That was until I noticed that my followers were donating money to me. I just had to collect it, and there was over $12,000 stored in it. Collecting them all surpasses the 666 gold requirement for an achievement. I then had my final boss fight with Shamuda, and if you couldn't tell, they turned into a giant ass spider. Once Shamuda is defeated, I get the achievement Think No Evil, as well as my final heretic heart, and the last restraint of the one who waits is now broken. I get pulled up to see my master, and he says that the time for his freedom is soon, but I do have some things to do. First, the thing I wanted to do before freeing my master was to use my last commandment stone to get the Born of Sin doctrine, which makes any baby character produce one sin upon being hatched. This also awarded me the Gospel achievement. I then whooped Leshy's ass for the no-hit achievement, as well as cheesing the living hell out of Calamar with the Black Icarus. And finally, I beat all opponents in Knucklebones, which unlocks the achievement and the Knucklebones table, so I can now play with my followers. I gathered up all 20 of my followers and I transcend into the plane of the One Who Waits. The One Who Waits wants to kill all my followers and take back the crown, but at this point I can't. My followers believe in me. I can't discard them like the pixels they are, so I refused my master's orders and the fight begins. First, he sent out Baal, but I made quick work of her. However, up next was Aim. They were a bit tougher than their sister, but I eventually won. With his back to the wall, the One Who Waits has to fight for himself. When he is defeated, he sneaks away to harness his true form, and with my followers' lives on the line, I wasn't about to hold back. I swooped in and sniped the kill, getting the achievement Do No Evil. The One Who Waits is then shrunk down, and I was given the choice to kill or spare the guy. I let him live, as I now become Death, the destroyer of worlds. I free my followers and we perform a ritual to send us back home. I now have to collect all 4 of the bishops. Leshy didn't see it coming, and Hecate couldn't scream for help, so it wasn't hard for me to introduce them into my cult. In between the boss fights, I hatched 5 total eggs. I then snatched Calamar, which he never herd coming, and I maxed out Hecate's level, which allowed me to turn him into a disciple. Performing the ritual turns Hecate into my 12th disciple for the Apostles achievement. As proof of me becoming death, I sacrificed 10 total followers for the Wearer of Souls achievement. I then force my followers to drink enough wine to fill up their sin bar. Harvesting the sins gives me enough resources to fully upgrade the temple, and when the lightning strike finishes, I got awarded an achievement. Adventuring to the boss fight with Shimura, I run into Midas, and the bastard steals all my gold. So I smashed his skull into the ground for the shakedown achievement. I then kidnap Shimura, and upon returning to the cult and inviting him in, I get the Leader of Leaders achievement. I retried the boss, and this time I used the invincibility relic to deal a crap ton of damage, and I beat the fight without taking damage myself, getting me an achievement. Now I only have a few achievements left. First, I helped Sozo with his shrooms addiction, and I got him clean for the Regenerate achievement. I then did a row in Purgatory, which is a feature of this game locked behind the DLC. However, I did buy the DLC, and I defeated the One Who Waits again. And right after the fight, the game crashed, but I was able to get a singular frame of the achievement popping. I then gathered the 2 servants of the One Who Waits and returned them to their mother, who is the merchant that gives you items during your crusade. She also gives you relics that I completely forgot about and never really used, but I needed them for an achievement soon. For now, reuniting the kittens awards me the True Love Found achievement. I then died on a crusade and appeared inside this void area, and upon interacting with the statue and listening through the dialogue, it gives me the remaining tarot cards for the full deck achievement. The One Who Waits then brings me to a meeting with the 4 bishops, and he hands me the last relic I needed for the Relics of the Old Faith achievement. I then gave away the Eyes of Witness, and in return I got the last holy talisman I needed to get the last fleece for an achievement. I forced my followers to create eggs that I then shattered right in front of them to collect the chef's costume, and I'll need to collect all the costumes, so I made my followers dance naked for the leaflet, which was the last costume I needed for the Settler of Trends achievement. During Crusades, you have a chance to find these king-looking statues. Make sure you break them as they open a secret room where you can get lore, and after gathering all lore, I get the Holders of History achievement, as well as the last follower skin I need, which also gives me the Godhood achievement for getting all achievements in Cult of the Lamb. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more videos of mine, I would recommend this video where I got every achievement in the most hated Dark Souls game, that being Dark Souls 2, which I shall leave on screen for you now.